guys, and welcome to one of my most anticipated reading vlogs in literally forever. I've been wanting to do this for so long now, and I've been promising that I will do this for even longer. So let's just directly get into it, because yesterday was World Book Day. I plan to celebrate fully today by reading for 24 hours. Is that such a good idea? I don't know, but let's just start because we're gonna be here a while. So I don't know whose excellent idea it was to start at 3:23, mine, but I want to do this essentially to kind of celebrate World Book Day because I was too busy to read yesterday, and because I'm leaving for vacation in 3 days and I'm an extremely picky reader to the point where I want to read some of my TBR before I go on vacation so that I don't have as much load to carry when I leave. So hopefully we'll find a couple of fun good reads. I have my timer queued up to 24 hours. I don't know if it's going to be 24 hours straight, but I'm going to try my hardest because I am a night owl anyway. I can be up till 5, no problem. So I'm going to get into it now. I'll go pick out my first read because I'm in the mood for something on Kindle, and I'll see you guys in hopefully a little bit with some good thoughts on it, because crossing my fingers that I actually find some nice reads in this video because it's been a while since I found some good ones. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, as you can tell it's dark outside now because it's been a few hours since my last clip to you. Now it's time for my very first update on this challenge. I feel like I got carried away because I said I'd be back in 1 hour. It's 7:46 in the evening right now, which is crazy, and you know, time flies, but I have gotten ahead and gotten my first book done in 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's crazy. We've got our timer going too. We've still got quite the way to go, and I have paused it now while I will be updating, but I'll go back to it very soon. I managed to go ahead and finish reading Off to the Races, which is Elsie Silver's first book. Now for context, I didn't start this from the very beginning because as a slow reader I genuinely cannot finish the whole book in 3 hours. That didn't happen. I actually started from the halfway point because I figured it was already on my Kindle. I'd already started it, might as well get it done with, because I don't really have another specific video I'm reading it for. I just started it after the Chestnut Spring series, after finishing that, because I was having like an Elsie Silver withdrawal, and for good reason, and this definitely gave what it had to. It follows these two characters, Billy and Vaughn. Billy, essentially she's like this new trainer into the world of horse racing, and it's essentially like a whole man dominated field, so she can't really get any scandals or whatever because she's got like a past situation as well, and so she's just prepared to come in to work for this ranch to kind of help like a horse kind of get like a derby, because that's literally just what she wants. Now I'm not very familiar with all of these terms because I don't know much about it, so if I'm messing up, bear with me. On the other hand, we have Vaughn. He's basically the owner of the farm or whatever, owner of the ranch, and essentially his granddad actually got into a bit of like a scandalous situation before he passes away. So now the ranch is facing some huge major media PR consequences, and Vaughn is the one who is at the helm of the ship trying to deal with it, trying to figure out what's happening next. So when Billy comes in as the new trainer, he essentially is immediately attracted to her, but he cannot be with her because he's trying to avoid other scandals, and so to kind of test her, he kind of puts her up to the task of training this new problematic horse to kind of win the Derby championships or something, to kind of win. And so she's dealing with that, but in the background they're falling for each other. But can they really do anything, especially because both of them can't afford scandals right now? That's the point. And it's set in the small town like ranch setting. There's like other people involved. I definitely got to see Violet Eaton, who is the sister of the Eaton brothers from the Chestnut Spring series, and I do believe the next book is her book, so really excited for that. And this definitely had to give what it had to give, because I can definitely see this as Elsie Silver's like very first book ever. I can see how her next male main characters from the Chestnut Spring series, what came before that as the building stepping stone or whatever, but this wasn't great in any sense. Like I had a good time reading, but it just felt like a mid book, so I'm gonna say like 3.5 stars. I'll have my final rating on screen once I have decided, once I'm editing, but for now it was a good read and I'm happy I read it because I want to get through her backlist, and I really want to read the next book in the series following Violet Eaton, because the Eatons in my head are literally royalty. They're such celebrities, and I want to get to it, so I'm happy I read this. But it wasn't the best time because I didn't really feel the chemistry. It was very physical off the bat, and I actually saw this one review of someone saying that the girl, she had more chemistry with her horse, and here's the thing, I agree. So it was a good time. It was definitely funny, and it gave me all the vibes a good old Elsie Silver book has to give. But was it really worth it? Because I didn't enjoy most of it. Anyway, moving on to our second book now. I actually decided I want to pick up an audiobook because it's not feasible for me to keep pausing the timer every single time I want to go off and do other things like drink water or like just go eat something, go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna have some sort of audiobook going for the rest of the challenge. So I don't have to keep pausing my timer and the time doesn't keep getting delayed. Because if I started at like 3 in the afternoon today, if I keep pausing my timer, it's gonna be beyond 3 in the afternoon tomorrow, and I don't know how much longer I can do because my eyes are already drooping shut after having read only one book. That's wild, that's crazy. Still coming to terms with the fact that, listen, whenever I do 24-hour reading challenges, I don't think I actually know how long 24 hours is, because it sounds fun, it sounds alright in retrospect. While I'm actually doing it, I actually come to terms with the fact that wow, 24 hours is a lot and maybe I can't do it. So I'm gonna try my hardest, but for now I actually have an audiobook queued up so I can be doing other things, and I'm actually gonna go eat right now because I'm really hungry. My mom made me pasta, and so while I'm eating, I'm gonna be listening to The Perfect Divorce. This is the second one to The Perfect Marriage. I read that book last year when I was in this huge like lawyer era because I was watching How to Get Away with Murder. Now I'm watching Suits, so I'm still back in my lawyer era and I want like a legal drama. This feels perfect. I don't really know if I was gonna read it originally because I didn't really like the first book very much, but listen, this is what I'm in the mood for right now. If I need a good mystery thriller to keep my eyes open, I'm gonna take it because I don't want to fall asleep right now. So I'm gonna go start with this and I'll update you guys maybe in a little bit and hopefully more frequently with my thoughts on the book so far. And I'm gonna go eat now because I'm really hungry. So see you guys in a bit with more updates on our next book. Bye. Alright guys, update time. My hair has gone up because that means I'm literally in for business. It hasn't been much longer since I last spoke to you. It's currently 9:46, and by much longer I literally mean I do not remember the last time I came and spoke to you. So that means my brain is literally so fried from reading, even though it hasn't been very long. And if I were to naturally, cluck out of this challenge or whatever, I'd probably go to bed right now because I am that tired. But if I push myself, I still think we can make it a decent chunk of the way before I drop out for the night. Like I said, it's 9:46 and we've managed to hit 3 hours and 55 minutes on the timer. And you're gonna wonder what kind of book I finished in the span of literally 1 hour that I am literally just coming back in, popping in to tell you that, listen, hey, I'm done, ratings time. I did end up listening out to The Perfect Divorce. Now this book, I actually already listened to most of it earlier, and so at this point I'm literally just getting through books I have on my Goodreads backlog that I'm in the middle of, but it's giving me good reason to actually keep reading because this was a quick one to get through considering I had only a little bit left and I heard it on 3x speed as an audiobook. But then I had a great time as well because it had me on the tips of my toes, and now I'm actually invested in this challenge to the point where my slump is literally gone. I'm excited to pick up the next book, so it did its job pretty well. It's the second one in the Perfect Marriage kind of series. I don't really know what it's called, but I do believe there will be another book in this series at some point because it was hinted in this book and I'm so happy for that. But I will be summarizing The Perfect Marriage in this video rather than this one, because if I summarize this one, that's huge spoilers for The Perfect Marriage and this series overall. The Perfect Marriage, which is the first one in the series, essentially follows this high-powered attorney, I guess. She's called Sarah Morgan. Keep with me because I'm trying to remember the summary I gave last year. I didn't actually go back and look on it, and it's been a year since I read this book. And basically she's either respected or feared throughout the entire city because she's the kind of scary psycho that you should actually be afraid of. One day, as it turns out, her husband Adam Morgan is caught cheating on her, except the only reason he's caught is because the body of his mistress turns up and he's suspect number one. So the woman he was having an affair on Sarah with is essentially, turns up dead or whatever, and he's suspect number one. He's being convicted and there's like a whole trial situation, and because she's a lawyer already, she decides she's gonna support him anyway. So she, the wife who was being cheated on, is representing her cheater husband at the trial that's convicting him of killing his mistress. That's messy, and so as that's going on, you kind of try to figure out different timelines and different perspectives and actually what went down, and it's crazy, it's wild. But then this one is even better. I feel like this definitely didn't fall into second book syndrome. It was so much better than the first one because it had me on the tip of my toes. I feel like the first one was still slow and it, had a couple of loopholes here and there, but this book went back and fixed everything. It had certain events connect back to the first one that happened in the first book, and all thought lines got shut. Everything is closed off now. Everything feels like a nice tight bow has been wrapped on it. Lots happened, and crazy shit went down. This book was batshit crazy, that's what I will say. But now finishing it off, I'm still reeling from the fact that just happened because it was crazy. This is one of the best thriller books I think I've ever read, and I'm so happy I did. And it definitely gave me all the lawyer vibes I was looking for because I've been loving watching Suits lately, and while this wasn't exactly like it still gave me the vibes I was looking for, and it was a good time. So I'm gonna say 4.5 stars. My final rating will be on screen because I feel like if I am trying to rate like a book, I won't rate it fairly if I'm reading it in the span of 24 hours and then trying to rate immediately after. So I'm gonna have my rating on screen for you as I edit. But this book was great. I'm so happy I read it. I feel like so many shocks happened in it, so many random things came at at you, and once you actually realize the implications of it all, my mouth was on the ground the entire time. My jaw literally fell, and I'm going back to pick it up because that was crazy. Already, I think I'm so in love with Sarah because she's such a psychopath. The way she talks is so girl bossy, but then also it's kind of wild, and there's like a certain type of thriller book that I really love reading that actually comes up in this. Now you'll understand that reference only if you've read the books, because if I tell you, it's a huge spoiler. But it came here, and I'm so happy I did, because it was a great time reading. And so 4.5 stars. We'll move on to our next book now. I think I might actually go take a break for like an hour or two because I can't do it anymore. It's 9:51, but I'll be back hopefully by midnight to pick up our next book or whatever, and then I'll see you then. But regardless, so far I'm now excited again for the challenge and to keep going. So this was the right decision, and I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit with more stuff to do. Bye. Update time. It's now 1:30. If I'm kind of whispering, it's because I'm trying not to wake the others up. Everyone's gone to bed except me. However, I have gotten some more reading in. We are now at 4 hours and 53 minutes. That's crazy. That's great. Got another book done. Now, before you ask me if every single book I read in this challenge from here on out will be 1 hour long, it won't. This was just an exception. I read the Chestnut Springs Christmas novella. So happy I did, because it was literally perfect. I'll have a screenshot of my review up on screen because that's literally all my thoughts. It takes place after the series, so if you want to read it, you should basically consider reading the whole series first. But it was like a good catch-up, good closure on all of the characters after the series. You got to see them, you got to see their lives, what happens next. Kind of like an extended epilogue, which I don't normally tend to enjoy, but I had a blast with this one. Giggling every other page, kicking my feet, squealing, having the absolute best time. It honestly felt like my best friends got like a happy ending, and I'm so happy and proud for them, and happy to see them actually fulfilled and enjoying their lives. But then now that it's done, I don't know what I'll do, because Chestnut Springs is officially over for me. Elsie Silva needs to write more books in this world. It's truly such a 5-star series, and this reminded me why I need to go start rereads immediately, because it was perfect. But now moving on, I'm gonna maybe listen to like a thriller audiobook, because I know it's 1:30 in the morning, but maybe I want to pack my suitcases for the trip now because I haven't started yet. So I'm gonna go do that, still continue listening, and start my timer up again. But I'll see you guys in a bit with more updates. This novella was perfect, all I needed, because Elsie Silva writing is perfect to binge, especially after the whole shitstorm that I went through with reading the previous book, and I was still reeling from it. But now that I've recovered, I can start another thriller, so that's what we shall do. And I'll see you guys hopefully in the morning, because I will take a break to go to bed, obviously. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, so it's now the next afternoon. I don't really know what time I was awake till last night, but I did end up going to bed at some point because I got tired, wasn't able to keep my eyes open. However, I think we did pretty good because I managed to read up to nearly 6 hours in a day, and I think that's good for one day considering the fact that I started late and I was tired throughout. Now I actually woke up exhausted, which is fine, except right now it's 3:21 in the afternoon, nearly the same time as yesterday that we're starting. So I'm hoping we can get more done today and more covered, because I want to get this challenge done by tomorrow. Even though I'm posting this video in 2 weeks time, I'm trying to pre-record before I leave for vacation, and I'm going on Monday. Today is Friday, so if I get the video recorded, I don't have to worry about reading on vacation, which I will do at some point. I just don't want to be doing it for 24 hours, so hopefully we'll get more done today. But now for book updates from last night. I spoke about the Chestnut Springs novella when I last came to you, and it was a good breezy read, but then after that I was still tired enough that I needed something that would grip my attention, and I knew if I wanted to go and gravitate towards one of the fantasies I've got on my TBR, that wouldn't happen because fantasy requires world building, and that wasn't really the headspace I was in at that point yesterday. So I figured I'd pick up a mystery thriller, and I ended up going through the author who wrote Run on Red, her backlist, because it's been kindly sent to me by her publishers. Thank you Dynamite Books for sending them my way. And if you've heard of Run on Red, I actually read it in my Reading 7 Books in 7 Days challenge, and it definitely had me on my toes. It had me interested enough, so I figured I'll pick something from her backlist, and I picked the new book. It's not out yet as of right now that I'm recording, but it will be when this video gets posted in 2 weeks. It's called Such Quiet Girls. Again, it was sent to me, so thank you so much Dynamite Publishing for my copy. Figured I'd pick it up. I started reading a bit on Kindle, but then after that I switched over to hearing it out read to me, because on the NetGalley app, that's where it was sent to me, you can actually listen to it read on audio. So that's what I ended up doing. This book essentially follows this bus driver Jessa, who kind of lies on her application to kind of drive this bus for like nursery school playground kids or whatever, because she's actually like a convicted felon. Now on the other hand, we have those 10 kids on the bus. They're all children from this like nursery home kind of place called Right Beginnings, I think. I'm not really that sure, but essentially the 10 of them get on the bus with Jessa and they're driving back home, except the bus ends up getting hijacked. So now Jessa and the 10 kids are trapped in this underground bunker 20 feet in the ground, and they have to be, trying to fight their way out because they cannot breathe. The children are panicking. There's a lot going wrong. And on the other hand, the people who actually hijacked the bus and kidnapped them are saying that they'll let them go only if they get ransom money, or they actually have really bad plans for them and these folks could end up victims. So they're trying to fight their way out. There's like an older sister trying to, rescue her younger sister. She's trying to figure out a way. Jessa's kind of given up. Lots of things going on in it, and it's very interesting. But I will say, this is the second book I've read by this author, and I feel like her work is very long-winded in a very non-offensive way. I don't want to be mean or anything, but I feel like this book, I looked it up on Goodreads, it was like 380 pages. I honestly feel like it could have been wound up in like 200 because it felt like everything was just dragged out unnecessarily to the point where it was feeling like you're trying to write an essay to hit word count in college. But that's an unfairly accurate description of something that probably wasn't it. I will say though, it was slow and boring to get into, but once the ending rolled around, I was happy it was done, and it did its job of keeping me occupied enough that I actually wanted to pack my suitcase and continue listening and doing my other stuff out. So I managed to listen to about 6 hours done on the timer, and now that this is done, I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars. Get back to you on that rating when I'm editing. But then after that, I started another audiobook. It's like this book by Penelope Douglas, who is a really popular author, but I don't know much about it because I started maybe 10 minutes and I got tired, so I went to bed. So I'm gonna go back to packing right now because I'm not done, clearly, and I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit when I finish this one out as well, because at some point after packing, I do want to go on the treadmill and get some exercise in. So I think we have a good chance of finishing it out today and maybe another book, but fingers crossed that's gonna happen. See you guys in a bit. Now my goal for today, because we've read 6 hours, is to essentially hit at least 15. I don't know if that's crazy. It probably is, because that's like 9 hours of reading, but we shall see if that happens, and I'll see you hopefully once I'm done with the Penelope Douglas book, which so far feels very 2014 and I hate it, but hopefully things will get better. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Okay guys, it's been a few hours, so update time. But before anything, there's been a change of background because being cooped up in my room for so many hours now, I genuinely cannot take it. I feel like my last brain cell has applied itself and is gone to God knows even where, because I'm so tired. I'm so sick of just being stuck there. So I was outside for a little bit reading in the yard, and now I'm reading in my mom's room because I cannot take being stuck up there anymore. However, it's been some time. It's now 9:21. That's crazy that it's already nighttime, and I could have locked in and read more, I feel, today, but I feel like the book slumped me out and I hated it so much that I just couldn't get myself to focus and lock in and actually finish it out. But it's done now, and we've hit 8 hours and 23 minutes on the timer. Again, it doesn't sound like a lot, so don't get mad at me, but I'm trying really hard right now, and hopefully the next update to you from me will be in the double digits when I have actually read something nicer. But for now, The Bully by Penelope Douglas, I hated it. Worst book of this video so far, so easily, because this book, it was truly terrible. It follows Jared and Tate. They've been besties for as long as they can remember, since they were children or whatever, and everything goes great except one summer. Something falls apart and suddenly Jared starts bullying Tate like aggressively, in the sense that he's just pushing it. He's constantly bullying her, spreading rumors about her at school. Her reputation's down the line. She doesn't really have friends or social life. Wherever she goes, she's honestly scared that the event will get ruined or whatever, because he and his gang of friends are over there and they'll mess it up in some sense or whatever. And so she's basically terrorized to the point where he's such a bully that now she just doesn't know what happened to their friendship, what went wrong, and she's just done with it. So she ends up taking like a year off from school and ends up going to France and spending it there studying abroad. Except now when she comes back for her final year of high school, for her senior year, she's just like, listen, I know I'm back in the same small old town, but I'm gonna stand up for myself now because I've had enough of his shit. We were friends and he, just messed it up. He can't take it anymore, so I'm not gonna bend down or whatever. And she, grows a backbone overnight and decides, okay, I'm gonna stand up to him and play his game or whatever, except they start falling for each other. But here's my problem with it. A bully romance can be done good. This wasn't it. This felt like 2014 Wattpad. I do believe it was published in that year or something like that, so it definitely gave those vibes and I was cringing at certain bits. I will say this definitely glorified and romanticized a bunch of things that it shouldn't have done that too, because so many topics that were happening in this book, I was just like, no, that's actually absolutely wrong morally and actually, but it was written in a way that you're supposed to actually enjoy it and support it. So there was a lot I can't stand with on this book. Even if you're reading it and you want to, choose to do so once you read the trigger warnings. I went in completely blind, and so I've been blindsided. I hated every second, and even though I have a couple of this author's books on my TBR, one being Punk 57 and the other one is the Devil's Night series or something like that, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to them now, because genuinely this truly wasn't it. I actually hated every second. There were certain bits that were happening that I was just like, so we're supposed to forgive you now, despite the fact that you made the last like couple years of her life living hell just because you're good looking and you said sorry one time and you think, that reverses all your actions. I don't know. I hated every second. Maybe other people can get along with it, but for me, I hated it. I had such a bad time, and truly there was so much that happened in this book that is getting on my nerves, because I feel like at some points there were really good characters at the beginning and they were being described in the sense that they're such great angels or whatever, and then to further the plot points moving forward, they were suddenly villainized or whatever. That doesn't really match up with the previous character traits. And then not just that, I feel like this was also very much a book wherein the main girl wasn't a girl's girl. She was like putting others down, talking shit about them or whatever. So overall it wasn't for me. I hated every second. Lots I can't really get behind with, relate to, because it was bad. And these kids are like 17, so guys, calm down, chill, act your age maybe. And yeah, this was like 2 stars. I don't really know, I'll put my final rating on screen, but I hated it, and 2 is the lowest I give on my scale, because books definitely take work and time to do by authors, so I don't want to give 1 star. But yeah, we're gonna move on now because I've had enough. But I'm so excited now that this book is done, because I can actually take my Kindle and go curl up in bed, because I've been looking forward to doing that for all day now. I have mostly packed my suitcase for updates on that if anyone cares, but I do have a couple things here and there that I need to put in, but I don't need audiobook for that. I actually need my focus, so we won't be doing any more of that in the video. And I also went ahead and did my exercise for the day. I did the treadmill for a little bit, so all of that's complete. Maybe I'll do my nails at some point tonight because they look really bare and ugly, and maybe we'll pick something out for then. But right now I'm in a huge fantasy Kindle mood, which I never really get in, so I want to snatch it and leap on it. So even though that literally makes no sense, I'm gonna go pick up my Kindle, and I'll see you guys hopefully in a little bit with more thoughts and updates on maybe more fun books, because hopefully fantasy's got my back now that romance has been failing me time and again and mystery thrillers just aren't hitting. So I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit. Hopefully we'll get better in this challenge, because truly it's slugging by. I'm hating every second now, and we still have quite some time left because we're still at like 8 hours. So see you guys hopefully in a bit when we have more complete or whatever, but until then, bye. Last update for tonight is really late right now. It's like 1:39, which is crazy in the morning. I still feel like if I'm normally working, I can pull like longer or overnighters or whatever. I can do up till 4 and 5 in the morning, but those days I'm generally not reading the entire day. So now, because I've been reading so much, my eyes are literally drooping shut. I look like shit. All I want to do right now is go to bed, but I cannot do that because I actually want to stay up till at least 4 today, so I still have a couple hours to go on that, so that I can actually get through a decent chunk of this challenge right now, stay up tomorrow as well, finish it out. Because as much as I like to do this vlog while I'm on vacation as well, the problem with that is I don't really want to be stressed while I'm there. This is supposed to be backlog so that I can still post for you guys while I'm there without having to actively worry about reading and recording stuff. And so I need to get this done while I'm here, and that's the thing, that's the dilemma that's going on in my mind right now. So we're pulling a half all-nighter anyway, but I've got good updates for now. Since the last time I came and spoke to you, I've actually locked in. After dinner I was just like, listen, I'm gonna actually stay focused, and I was, because now we've hit the double digits, so we have some good progress being made in terms of finishing the challenge out. We still have like 14 hours, that's crazy, but we'll get to it. Now I've hit 10 hours on the timer and I'm so happy about it. For book updates though, I ended up continuing reading Rebel Witch, which is the second one to I think Heartless Hunter, on my Kindle, and I'm so happy I did, because I actually started this a couple of weeks ago around the time I finished Heartless Hunter, but off camera, because Heartless Hunter ends in this huge like crazy cliffhanger situation. I wanted to see what happened next, and so I didn't really have the chance to continue reading even though I started, because it wasn't on camera for anything specific. But now that I have the chance to put it in this video, I'm taking it because I wanted to see what happens next, and I'm so happy I did, because I'm having the time of my life. Honestly, this was the right decision. Fantasy's coming in clutch, saving my back from a reading slump, and I'm so happy I picked this up. However, if you want like a summary, I'll be speaking about Heartless Hunter, not this one, because it's like a duology and it'll be huge spoilers for this one. one, and I don't want to do that because so many people need to read this book. It's the perfect example and the perfect recommendation if someone's looking for yearning but in a romantasy setting, because this essentially follows, or the first one basically, a witch and a witch hunter, and essentially the gist of it is that they're falling in love, except they can't because they're on opposing sides of the council or whatever. So essentially it follows Rune, who is called the Crimson Moth. She rescues witches, she's a witch herself, and she kind of just wants to save them. And on the other hand, we have the Blood Guard, who are essentially the soldiers of the New Republic, the place where they're based in or whatever, and their job is essentially to hunt these witches and kill them out to kind of suppress like a revolt. And the captain of the Blood Guard is Gideon. He doesn't allow it or whatever. He has to put his foot down because he's got like past stuff he's dealing with the witches. He's got first-hand contact that just shows him they're evil and basically they're his enemies, so he needs to purge them out. Now while that's going on, both of them have this like fantastic idea to kind of fake court each other, in the sense that Rune wants to start fake courting Gideon so that she can get more information on saving more witches because they're her kind, because he's the Blood Guard captain, he's gonna have the most of it. And Gideon wants to fake court Rune because he suspects she's the Crimson Moth who is stealing away all the witches that his, army is capturing or whatever, and she could be essentially leading them towards a revolt, and he doesn't want that to happen. So lots going on, but they start fake going out or whatever, except they're falling for each other, and all of this is happening in like a Bridgerton-esque kind of modern but also very flashy, the Masquerade Ball kind of setting, that era, the Regency vibes, and it's perfect. That background is honestly amazing. If you want something that gives you the perfect like fashion sense, the way it's described, but also there's like a cool romantasy, enemies to lovers, but it's actually real going on, this is perfect. This is great. We just had like a who did this to you scene in the second book, and I'm so happy, having such a great time. This is honestly great, and honestly it's very fast paced because I am guessing stuff in it. The biggest plot point in the second book, I've guessed it already, but I don't care because it's speeding through. I'm so giddy about the fact that I'm literally just breezing by this book even though I'm a slow reader, and I'm so happy about it because fantasy generally takes me a longer time to read. So the fact that this is giving me all the fantasy feelings, but it's going by fast in the sense that I'm hooked. I cannot stop. I need to go through it and see what happens next. It's got me hooked and it's got me on the edge of my seat, and it's crazy, and I'm having a good time. So I'm gonna go keep reading. So far this looks like it could be the best book I'm reading in this video. This might even be 5 stars, who knows, it depends on my mood when I finish, but so far so good. So happy about my choice, and I'm gonna go keep doing that. But since my eyes are drooping, I was thinking I'll come update right now saying that I want a break, because like I said, it's like 1:40. Wow, did you guys see that? It's okay, it's 1:44 basically. That just basically shows I'm tripping right now. I need to get to bed, but because I want to stay awake and keep going, I'm thinking I would actually want to take the time to do my nails out. So what I'm gonna do is actually go find another audiobook, not this one because I have it on Kindle anyway, something from a fresh, start listening to that while I do my nails, because I'm gonna need some audiobook while I exercise on the treadmill tomorrow anyway. And so it's not a bad decision. I can still stay awake and get some reading in, but also then tomorrow I can get back to Rebel Witch and finish that out and have another book to fall back on, so I don't fall into a reading slump because I'm already through the audiobook. Does that make any sense? My 2 a.m. brain is just not helping with anything, cannot process words right now. I just need to go. But that's what I'm gonna do. I actually have a couple options I have selected. I want to do either red or I want to do this beautiful shade of pink. So we'll see what I end up doing. But yeah, so far I'm taking a nail polish break, gonna listen to my audiobooks out or whatever, and see you guys hopefully tomorrow in the morning, bright, fresh and early, with hopefully 12 hours hit on this, because that was my main goal for today. And we'll see if that happens, because 15 is definitely not happening. But see you guys in a bit. Bye. Okay guys, update time. It's now the next evening. It's about 6:32, which is great. I feel like we can still lock in and finish the challenge today, because I'm hoping today is going to be the final day of this, because tomorrow is Sunday. I'm leaving Monday and I'm going to be really busy doing other things tomorrow, like finally finishing off my packing fully, because I'm done with my clothes and whatnot, but I haven't finished the books I want to carry and other random stuff that I'd want to take, like my Kindle or stuff to crochet over there and stuff. So I'm gonna have to go check on those things or whatever, and I'm gonna be busy tomorrow, which means we have to wind this up today, or I'm gonna see you when I'm on vacation in a couple days. So hopefully that won't happen, it won't come to that. I still have a good feeling that we can finish it out. But now for update time. Since the last time I came in and spoke to you, I said I was gonna pick an audiobook. I did, and I ended up listening to Out of the Gate. So if you remember the first book we read in this video, I think it was called Off to the Races. I'm so sorry, this is Elsie Silver's like first series or whatever. It's called Gold Rush Ranch, and I cannot be bothered to remember the name, so if something's gone wrong, I will write the correct name on screen. But you know, it's not my thing, especially not in the way Chestnut Springs was, which is why it's not as great, and I don't care to memorize the names, but it's still good regardless at getting us through the challenge. And so I ended up listening to the novella that comes in after the first book. So in the first book, we actually follow this like scandal that happens at the ranch or whatever, which is the whole reason why they can't be together. In the novella now, it's kind of like a backstory on the grandparents. So there's something in the scandal that relates to his granddad, and in the novella here, Out of the Gate, you actually get to see the whole epic love story that was described in Off the Races between Ada, the grandmom, and Dermot, the granddad, and how Dermot, you know, became the man he did leading up to whatever happened in the scandal. And I don't really want to spoil it for you, but it basically just shows their early days back in the 80s, I think, when they were both younger and falling for each other or whatever, except he's 10 years older than her at the ranch, and that's the way it goes. And I'm gonna quickly just brief past this because this is probably my least favorite book by this author. She's honestly in my top 5 easily, but the thing is, this one specifically just wasn't it, and I don't really want to talk negatively and shit about it because she's still in my top 5 authors. So I'm gonna breeze past it really quick. I'm just gonna say I didn't like the way the age gap was handled in this, because he kept showing us age gap X in the way he was talking, in the sense that he has been working at the farm since he was like 20, she was 10, and you know, people are gonna get the wrong impression. At least that's what he keeps saying. So let's move past that because I don't want to be thinking about it. And another thing he also said is the fact that he doesn't really trust Ada's parents to take the relationship well, even though she tells him they're gonna be okay with it. And so he doesn't really have enough trust in themselves, in them, to kind of stay stuck there and actually fight for them. And you know, for some reason that just icked me out again. So we're gonna move past. I'm gonna say 2.5 stars, unfortunately. I wish it was 3. It just isn't, because I've read other better 3-star books, and because it was a novella, I didn't really have that emotional connect, because I already didn't like him very much going off the bat from the first book. And you know, it wasn't the epic love story it's been described to be from the first book. It just felt like a quick, short, steamy book, and it was alright, don't get me wrong. It did do its purpose and have me entertained while I did my nails, but it wasn't the best time ever. So we're gonna move past. While I was doing that, I was doing my nails red, and you know, I think they turned out cool. But then moving on from them now, I ended up doing my fingers and toes, and after that, while I was waiting for it to dry, I was still awake at the night. I ended up reading till 12.5 hours. I actually had it on video and ended up finishing out Rebel Witch. So that's the next one which we were in the middle of reading. So I was reading it on Kindle. It's the second one to Heartless Hunter, and I think I already summarized that for you. So I'm just quickly gonna say best book in the video we've read so far, because this was truly incredible. Such an amazing time. I can't believe it's over, because I can't believe we won't have more Gideon Rune to get back to. It just feels so wild and incredible. But you know, regardless, I love these characters so much. I can't wait to reread at some point, because I love me a good old duology. I love how things are explored, connections are opened up, and then nicely wrapped up with a bow in book 2. It was perfect. The ending was absolutely crazy. Didn't see that coming, but the way it happened, I'm telling you, it got all my emotional heartstrings out during the war phase especially. Oh my god, I was a mess, and I was so happy to be one, because this truly made me feel everything it had to. 4.5 stars. In a World of Boys, Gideon is a gentleman. If you haven't read this, please read it. It's like epic romantasy. This is true enemies to lovers, enemies for a good reason. Alright guys, forgive me for the light change or whatever. We had a power cut, but essentially I was just saying the enemies to lovers in this is so cool, because the enemies are actually enemies, and for good reason. It's not some rubbish thrown in there. And lovers, when that hits, the romance, the chemistry, the tension, the slow burn between these two characters, it was so well done, and it was so well paced. Right from the beginning of book 1 till the end of book 2, I had such a great time, because this had the longing and the yearning I was actually looking forward to in basic romances that just don't fulfill anymore, and this came in clutch with that. So if you're looking for a good romantasy to get you out of a reading slump, this is perfect, because even though there's other bits in it, it's still fast paced enough that there's always something happening. There's never a dull moment. You're going to be so invested, you just cannot put it down. And while I did guess a couple things towards the end I didn't, and I feel like that's good enough for me. In a World of Boys, Gideon is a gentleman. So 4.5 stars, and I'm happy I read it, and I'm happy I had the best time doing so, because now I have a series complete and I had a good time doing so. And one day I'm gonna go look back on one of my favorite times, ever because this was so good. It's gonna hold such a special place in my heart. And then for today itself, I ended up reading for a couple hours just now before I ended up napping and then came here to give you my update, because if I want to hit until 4:30 in the morning again today, if I want to be recharged from yesterday's, I needed a quick nap, so that's what I did. But then here I am now to actually binge and go in one sitting, finish this challenge out, because I'm determined to lock in and do this. And so I ended up picking out our next book for this video. But before anything, I quickly just want to say the last B-roll clip I put in this video was actually one of me showing you the next book I'll be reading along with my timer, and then right after I shut the camera off on that, my timer reset. So unfortunately there's been a bit of like a setback situation. Even though I know the exact, and I got very lucky because it got caught on camera, my timer is gone. I genuinely am so mad at myself, but also I'm grateful that I got it on camera the last time I stopped at, and it was 13 hours and 5 minutes, which means if you calculate that from 24 hours, I have 11 hours left. I in fact have 10 hours and 55 minutes if we want to go into exacts, but we're not going to. I just set like 11 hours on my timer again, so we're going to restart the timer all over again, and we're going to do 11 hours more because I don't really want to be cheating. I actually want to get this done. But then instead of putting a timer on, I did it on the stopwatch in the hopes that this time it won't get messed up the way it did. So started again from 11 hours, and now I've hit 9 hours and 27. I'm trying to be so careful with the screen so I don't reset it by mistake again. And this is how much we have left on the challenge now. So it's gonna be a bit confusing, but please deal with me. I'm sorry, it just had to happen, and I'm really mad at myself for it. I'll be more careful in the future. But for now, I did end up starting our book out. I read for like a couple hours, as you can tell on the timer, and I picked up a photo finish. Do not get mad at me. I hope this reaches the right audience, because this is like the third or fourth book we're reading of Elsie Silvers in this video. And again, don't come at me because the last book was so good. I just knew I needed something trustworthy enough that I don't fall in a reading slump. It needs to be fast paced, and it needs to hook my attention, and it needs to be something I'm genuinely interested in. And there was truly nothing I wanted apart from continuing the series now, because I've been so excited and anticipating this book specifically in it that I was just like, I have to do it. So hey, I did it. Look at the cover, look at the vibes. It's supposed to be like Cowboy Small Town, and I can't wait. And I'm so happy I did pick it up because it follows Violet Eaton, the sister of the Eaton boys from the Chestnut Springs series. That by this author is a 5-star series for me. I love it so much, and you can definitely see how this is before that series, so you can definitely see how her writing and her story improvement gets better and better as she writes more books, and that's why we got legendary characters in that series like Kate and Theo. But it's still good to look back on the roots and see what happens with Violet and her background story, because we've been seeing a lot of her in that series specifically, and I found her character interesting enough that I wanted to continue. So I'm happy I chose this, and don't get mad at me that this is like the fourth book we're reading of hers in this video, but it basically follows Violet Eaton. And so far I'm still trying to figure out like storyline and stuff, because I do know she ends up with Cole, her husband, that we see in those books, but here this is their backstory and their love story, so I'm gonna go figure it out. So far she's just like a shy girl that isn't like doing much or whatever. She's just described as small and shy, so I'm gonna go see what happens next. But I'm happy I chose this anyway because I'm having a good time reading, and I still think even though we have 9.5 hours left, we can still fit in like another book, because this isn't taking so long to read. I've already hit like 22%, and it's running by really fast. So I'm gonna go keep reading. Hopefully I'll finish it out in like a couple hours only. We can choose our last book and finish it off by night time, but I'll see you regardless in a couple hours now once I'm done with this book and for more bookish updates. And so far so good. I'm actually really excited to being on track to finishing the challenge and reading this book specifically, because I've been waiting so long for this, literal years now, and it's finally time. So I'm gonna go keep reading and actually figure the storyline out, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Alright guys, so time to skip a little bit in a shocking, unshocking turn of events. I am on vacation now. It's my second day. I made it here yesterday, and I didn't have the time to update. I'd also packed my tripod away, so I figured I'd just come and give you my outro here. But the timer just went off. We're done with our challenge. I'm done reading for 24 hours. You don't know how incredible that feels. Please ignore the background noise before anything. I can't really do anything about it. There's construction going on. But now it's update time on the books. Firstly, the second book in the Gold Rush Ranch series, I think it was called A Photo Finish. I ended up finishing that out. I think I had like 4 hours left on the timer once I was done with this. And basically it follows Violet Eaton. She kind of starts this like group chat or whatever, wherein she ends up speaking with this guy called Cole on this online forum, and rather than anything like romantic or anything, they start becoming friends before anything. So on that forum they start speaking about each other's lives, and because it's very anonymous, you don't really know who you're speaking to, they're able to speak about their deep dark secrets to each other, kind of confide in each other, find a friend, and then things from there slowly start to get romantic before, you know, she ends up ghosting him because something goes wrong. And then fast forward like a year or so, Cole has to live at their ranch or whatever for some business, and because he comes to live there, he actually sees Violet and he knows what she looks like. So now that he knows all of that, he knows that she was the woman he was speaking with and befriending on that online server, except things really went down with them, and now, you know, he still has like feelings for her or whatever, she has feelings for him, but they can't act on it because they don't know about the other person's feelings, and they also think, you know, things went wrong since the last time, so they're still reeling from that. And while that's happening, Violet is kind of forced to go live in the same household as Cole because she slips and, you know, breaks her ankle from the horse riding, and because of that she kind of needs help navigating in like this one-story house, and the only place open is to go live with Cole. So they're living under the same roof. Past secrets and old lies are coming up back from the chat days or whatever. I don't know if I'm making sense, but they're falling for each other and they're confiding again, except can they really make it work this time around, because things were definitely skewed up the last time, and you know, things have come into play, and Cole, as like a former soldier or whatever, he has all these invisible scars that he needs to work his way through. He's more grumpy and she's more sunshine, and can they make it work? That's basically the point. And listen, I believe in Violet Cole so much. I've known about them since day one because I've read the Chestnut Springs books. I think they were mentioned in the very beginning of Flawless as well, keep popping up here and there, and I'm so happy I got to read their book because listen, I had such a great time. I loved watching him fall for her and, you know, her fall for him, and the way they were doing it, and him kind of coming out of that shell he was in, because there's a lot that's, you know, gone wrong in his life, there's a lot that's gone down, and you kind of watch them, you know, fall for each other again, watch how the light comes back in his life, and I genuinely enjoyed it. I loved so much about it. This was giving me classic Elsie Silver. I was grinning at some bits so hard, and I had such a great time reading. I'm so happy I did. And you know, this was like 4 stars. Again, not as great as Chestnut Springs. That is just like a whole other universe beyond excellent. That is my favorite book in every dimension, but this was good otherwise, and you know, it was a good time. I'm happy I read it, and now I can't wait to read the next one in the series, which follows these characters we don't know a lot about. They're very mysterious, and so I'm excited. Even have it downloaded on my Kindle already, but before that I didn't pick that up for the next book because I decided I want to break from now Elsie Silver's work because I want to preserve it as much as I can before I run out. So I ended up picking this book out. I've been hearing about quite a bit since last year. It's called 0 Stars Do Not Recommend. Already that title sounds so crazy, and I started listening as an audiobook. So I did have a couple things I needed to do back at home in terms of packing. I started listening there, but I didn't get it done over there, so I managed to listen to the rest of it on the car ride here. I have a couple clips I recorded, and just now I actually managed to listen to more of it than the timer because there was like an hour more beyond the timer, but I paused the timer at the last like 10 odd seconds in the car because I wanted to record it when it wasn't shaking. So everything is done. I actually read more than this challenge needed me to. Technically this challenge was 24 hours. I think I read like 25 because I was listening in the car beyond the timer, but the timer was paused because I wanted more theatrics and good video clips or whatever, so I just had it go off here. But basically, you know, all that aside, I ended up listening to 0 Stars Do Not Recommend while packing and while coming here, and I'm so happy I did because this is very interesting. Before anything, it's not a romance. Do not fall for that because I thought it was, and then later I realized it wasn't, and you know, my mistake. But regardless, it's a really good book. This couple goes on vacation, Dan and his girlfriend Mara, and as it turns out, while they're over there, the sun literally explodes. So now the world comes at this apocalyptic situation wherein the sun is gone, it's all dark outside, and they are in that hotel, I think in Hawaii somewhere, wherein now it's being broken up class wise. So the upper rich class, the elite, they're kind of staging this coup, and then on the other hand, Dan is on the lower strata or whatever, and the lower class or whatever, the ones lesser privileged, they're actually looking up to him to be their leader in the apocalypse. So basically it's like kind of like a class class conflict situation, but also there's other things going on. And in the background there's actually a plane that's found, which is like a 6-seater. So now he's got to decide whether he wants to be part of the coup and kind of help the people there out, or if he just wants to take the plane with his girlfriend and escape, because he loves her and he would love what they could get of life together. But can he really risk it all if he's going to stay in such hostile environments? But then they're still trying to figure out what happened to the son, what happened otherwise, how to survive what's going on. And it's very interesting. It was the perfect vibes for vacation. It was really funny. I love the humor in it. But I will say one thing on a side note: if this man kept drinking alcohol at the rate he was going, he would die of alcohol poisoning, because the way it kept coming up, that was unrealistic. But regardless, I feel like the book was written in the sense that it was supposed to be like a sarcastic pun, and the entire time I was laughing so hard. It set the perfect vibes for my vacation right now, and I'm happy I got to it. I actually finished it around this time yesterday, and I've still been thinking about it since I finished it, so I'm happy I read it. I'm happy we got what we did, and the ending was also perfect. Didn't really guess that. I had a good time. It was great. The humorous elements were balanced perfectly with enough action that you actually invested in what's going on, but it wasn't like high stakes, because it was just supposed to be like a almost satirical version of like a book, and I had a good time reading. I'm gonna give this one 4 stars as well, and I would highly recommend because it was perfect. I had a great time. So now we've reached the end of today's mini reading vlog. I don't really know how long this is. I haven't gone back and looked on footage, but it's gonna be longer than you would expect, because I do remember sitting down and ranting for quite some bits. So I'm gonna stop my yapping now. Regardless, I hope you guys had like a fun time coming along with me. It's been a while since I've done one of these challenges, and every time I do it, I remember how slow of a reader I am and how 24 hours is longer than you'd expect. So now I'm actually getting deja vu from the last time I did 24 hours, because I remember I was on vacation filming the last clip in the same spot. I'm on vacation again filming the last clip, but it's the beginning of my vacation. So if you guys would like another similar video to this, except it's gonna be 24 hours straight while I'm on vacation again, I still have a month here, so I would love to give that to you, and let me know in the comments if you should. But regardless, like, comment, share, subscribe. YouTube things, you know how to do them, and I'll see you hopefully in my next video, which I think will be now from vacation, because I don't have other pre-recorded content. I'm gonna start the vacation vlogs literally right now. So excited. I've been waiting all year for this. I'm in my favorite place on the planet, and I'm ready to get some reading in, because this is the time. So I'll see you then. Until then, please take care. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.